Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Dr. Ira Roach III here with me today. How you doing, Dr. Ira?
I'm awesome. Thank you for having me be on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I want to say hi to everybody who's tuning in tonight. I appreciate you, whether you're viewing us from Roku TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Facebook, or YouTube. Guess what? It might be 9 o'clock Eastern, but it's 6 o'clock in the evening somewhere, and it's even earlier somewhere else. So let's rock and roll like we always do. We've got a comment in the building. That's Yolanda Riley saying, hey, how you doing, Yolanda, out there? And we're going to get right into it. Ira, where are you from?
I'm from Georgetown, Delaware.
Okay. Did you grow up there? Were you born there?
Yes, I actually was. I relocated maybe 3 years ago back home. My father and mother is getting older now. And my father is a double amputee. So we want to be a little closer so we could actually help him.
Okay. What was it like for you growing up in Delaware?
Delaware itself is small.
Okay.
The town I'm from is even smaller. So I had some big dreams, but more often than not, they were kind of shot down because you didn't see people from where I come from become actors. I always wanted to be this actor. It was something I loved doing, but where you come from a home where your father has been taught that you have to work hard. That's where we came from. Those values of working hard and earning, your place in the world, not getting it free. And so it was difficult to try to dream big. Very difficult.
So you grew up in an era where it was almost like faux pas or frowned upon to dream.
Yeah.
To have almost a make-believe idea of what you were going to do with your life, as opposed to the very tangible factory that's in your town, or the car company, or the local business. And so is that what you mean when you said that your dream of being an actor was shot down?
Oh yes, definitely. I even had a Army recruiter, Navy recruiter. Back then, there was, I'm not sure if it is today, but back then, there was a height restriction to fly a jet. And of course, I was only 5'2", and so I didn't make the height restriction. So I said, I don't want to join the Navy. And the recruiter told me, well, you'll be in a chicken factory, or you'll be working in a factory. You'll never be nothing if you don't. And I said, watch me.
Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Dr. Ira Roach III. This man is here on a mission, and he has a story to tell. I know that you can identify with having your dreams being shot down, your goal in life being looked over by people around you. In fact, I can also identify with people guaranteeing you that you're not going to go as far in society as you think that you're going to go. He was told he'd be working where? In a chicken factory?
Chicken factory. It's real big. We have 3 of them, matter of fact, where I'm from in Delaware in the town. It's 3, and it's a big business here. Agriculture, agribusiness is huge. And so that was one of the places that you could go without having a college degree or much school education. They would hire you there. And he told me that. Told me that.
How do you feel about the paradigm of work? Do you think that is changing? Is it still realistic to do a back-breaking job for 30 years?
Oh no. Domestic work is way out the door. And if you think that in this world now, if you had that same cookie cutter, graduate college, work on your job for 30 years, then get a pension, then live free, that's out the window now. That doesn't work in today's society.
Mm-hmm. When did you first realize that you wanted to be an actor?
Middle school. I was in the 8th grade, and we took a little test, and it came up that the top 3 was journalist, counselor, actor. I said, Now, they didn't offer it then, but going into high school, they offered acting. And so I got into high school, took the class. All 4 years I was in theater in the school, and I was in all the plays. And so that was my dream. I think because I could become anybody I wanted to. because during that time I didn't like me too much. I didn't understand that whole paradigm of, knowing who you are, loving who you are. I didn't like me, so I could become a big guy or a strong guy or
Mhm.
an action adventure guy. So I loved acting. It just took my mind away from all the what I call pain that I was going through.
Right. What was elementary school like for you?
When I first started, it was nice. It was fun. I was short. I was a little guy, so everybody loved me. It was new. They used to ride me around on their shoulders because I was so small, and they
Mhm.
loved me, and I loved elementary school. So it was good for me. Elementary school was awesome.
But as you got older, like middle school or high school, it sounds like from a social standpoint, you started to have a period where you were evaluating yourself. You
Oh
probably were
yeah.
looking at everybody else. You were looking at yourself and trying to figure out how to be confident.
hmm Middle school was not a good time for me. It was a dark place. Back then, we had to change not only our school, we had to go to a whole other school that brought more kids in. We had two towns that
Oh,
were each other,
right.
and so elementary they had their own school. We had our own school. Junior high, they brought us all together. So of course, a person, maybe I need to go back a little bit about the insecurities, but a person that just is used to the same set of friends, it was horrifying for me to go to some new school, got to meet new people
Right.
all over again, and these people were rude. They were not like my friends in elementary, and it was really a dark time. It was a dark time for me.
How did you deal with the social anxiety that you were going through? What were your conversations like with your mother, your father? Did you talk to anybody about this?
Didn't have it. My dad, he was present in the home, but he wasn't present for me emotionally. You're supposed to tough it up, don't cry, you know, you're a roach. You got to go hard. You're strong. So it wasn't any talking to him, and that's partly because his father was an alcoholic, and so
Mhm.
he never had the training to talk to any kid. So I never talked to anybody. I had some friends, but more likely than not, it was just me, just in my head all the time. One
And okay, and what about your relationship with your mother? Did you have conversation with her about what you were going through?
So my father and mother divorced when I was younger. Uh,
Okay.
they divorced. That caused some trauma. I didn't realize that then. They divorced when I was younger at 4, and I remember feeling like it was my fault that they got divorced, and so I
Really?
carried that. Yeah, I felt like it was my fault because if I wasn't there, then they wouldn't argue, and so I grew up with that. Believe it or not, I grew up with that. It's my fault mentality, which led to low self-esteem, which led to insecurities. Some people bullied me because I was so insecure. I was, timid in words, shy, and
Mhm.
so people bullied. And so I grew up with that. It's my fault.
Mhm.
It's my fault. That's why they're doing it.
Now, with that anxiety and the belief that you were causing some of the adversities that you were facing, you still decided to express yourself through the arts.
hmm
And we know that a lot of the arts programs are being cut in schools, and you find them less and less and less in the communities. Can you talk about the power of arts and the way that they helped you to get through that chapter of your life?
I looked forward to drama. That's what we called it back then.
Yep.
Every day. I mean, we had periods, and so I was so depressed when we didn't have drama because I look forward to going to drama. I know the drama teacher gonna say, "Close your eyes, go to
Mhm.
your special place." You
Mhm.
know, it wasn't a lot that I knew I was good at in my life. Acting, I knew I was the bomb.com.
Right.
I knew that I embodied this special gift that God had given me to act, and I didn't realize it then, but um, it kept me from then committing suicide because I
Wow.
didn't think I was good at nothing else, anything else. I was in the choir, I was in the theater, I did play some sports, but that was because my father wanted me to, and I wanted to please my dad. I ended up liking baseball, kind of, sort of, but I only did the sports things because I wanted to please my father. I wanted to be
That's right.
validated by him.
Mhm.
But with the arts, that was all me. I
Right.
loved it. I just loved the I love the people. I love the 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 scripts. I love the all the activities we did. Surrounding around just getting into your inner self, and
Mhm.
so it really saved me from suicide.
This is absolutely huge right here because the arts allowed you to get inside yourself and do some very powerful work
Yes, sir.
on the inside. The arts allowed you to get inside your mind, get inside your heart, move things around, be
Mhm,
imaginative,
mhm,
dance on the inside,
mhm.
right? To deal with a lot of the pain and anxiety that you were dealing with. And I want to draw out the fact that this is what a lot of our young people need. They need the arts.
They do.
They need opportunities to make believe. We like make believe.
Yeah, we do.
Guess what? You can be going through a terrible time in your life. Just like Dr. Roach said, somebody comes into a room with you and asks you, close your eyes.
Hmm.
We're going to a wonderful place. We're going to the best place you've ever been. Then you begin to mix the chemicals in your mind and heart a totally different way.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're forecasting a future in your life. That's what we also like to do. We like to forecast futures.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what were some of your favorite movies at the time? Some of your favorite artistic works? What did you like out there?
Um, One of my favorite plays was West Side Story. I loved West Side Story.
Why? Why?
I don't know if it's because the when you're a jet, you're a jet. I don't know. I just
Okay.
love the whole plot of the West Side Story. It was sort of kind of like a Romeo and Juliet, only reason, but they both didn't die. And I
Mhm.
love the West Side Story. I love the Sound of Music. I love the Sound of Music. As far as movies, I don't remember a lot of movies because back then,
Mhm.
um, my dad didn't let me go see a lot of movies, but I remember those two distinctively. Those plays, The West Side Story and The Sound of Music.
You guys, if you like the West Side Story, put a one in the chat. If you like the West Side Story, put a one in the chat. Show Dr. Rose that you're identifying with what he's talking about today. There were some others though. What's the play where he says feed me Seymour? What was the name of that one?
Oh yeah, I can't
It's
think.
right on the tip of my tongue. I'll think about it. Hey y'all, what was the name? What was the name of the play where the flower was saying, "Feed me, Seymour, feed me, Seymour."
Yeah.
Ryan says he hear you out there, right? And Greece, how did you feel about Greece?
I wasn't a Grease fan. I just
Okay.
wasn't a Grease fan. I don't know why. I just wasn't a Grease fan.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I know Living New John was awesome, and but I just didn't. Grease wasn't me. I don't know if
Mhm.
it was the hippie thing. I don't know, but
Right.
Grease wasn't me.
Okay. All right. So now, coming out of middle school, you know that the arts is definitely going to be a way for you going forward. Did you build relationships with any key adults? Did anyone step in and speak positivity into your life, speak life to you, and give you the idea that you could take control of your life
As far as the arts, or just
in,
period.
in general? Yeah.
Far as the arts, my drama teacher, she
Mhm.
always instilled in me that I would have to go to what they call summer stock to really get some training if I want to be this actor and go to New York or go to Hollywood. But as far as being grounded, the church was very important. The church was, eh, I could say that some of the church story was positive. The
Okay.
people that did speak into my life was very positive. I'll stick on that. There were some men that really told me, you can make it. You can be this person. You can defeat the odds of what you think, you might face.
Mhm.
And so that really helped me understand that I didn't have to, like I said, I was always kind of depressed because I didn't like me. But they would always, the youth leaders. I had an uncle that was a youth leader, very positive. He talked to all of us all the time, carried us on trips, and helped us understand, build a relationship with the higher power, with God. But he also was an example that we looked at. I
Right.
mean, see many, African Americans back then. as teachers, and he was the first African American male teacher that we all seen. So he was very influential in me trying to hone into those other gifts, of paying it forward, if that makes sense. Because I always wanted to, I didn't want to see people like I was, who was depressed and hurt. And so I always had this in the back of my mind: how in the world could I be that when I grow up?
Right. You know, when you say that there was a time in your life where you didn't like yourself, that really strikes a chord with me. And I can tell you mean it. What could have been done at that time in your life to help you out? I'm thinking about young kids out there today, or even adults. You know, we talk about young people a lot, but I also want adults, audience members, to apply this to yourselves too. We're concerned about the youth, but we're concerned about the adults. Sometimes we're one and the same.
Yeah.
A lot of us have things about ourselves that we don't like. It's okay to say that. But as a young person, what could have helped you specifically during those times in your life?
I would have to say today's terminology would have to probably be a therapist.
Okay.
I think that's the only, I'm not gonna say it's the only outlet, but if I had a mentor or a support group to help a child that where I could see myself. I always felt like I didn't see myself. I knew I was
Wow.
different.
Okay.
And different, and you know, when people are afraid of something that they don't understand, I was different. But I was taught that, or I perceived that being different meant yuck. You're
Wow.
away. Nobody loves you. And that's not true. So if someone would have sat down maybe and told me that, you know, help me understand me, I guess that's the best way I could put it. Help me really understand that being unique does not mean it's not a death sentence for you to be an outcast or the black sheep. I believe that would have helped me tremendously.
I'm gonna also champion what you're saying and encourage the whole community out there that we need to have conversations with one another, and we need to have conversations with young people about the power of who they are and what they are.
Yeah.
It is so amazing that you have a pair of eyes and what those eyes do. It is so amazing that you have a pair of ears and what those ears do. It's so amazing that the color of your skin reflects the sun. It is so amazing that if you are a shorter person, you look for the biggest and the best of everything. And if you are one of the taller people, you look for the inner parts. You look to protect everything. There's values in it all. You know, there are times where we need to know what's so good about us. You know, talk to me about my skin color, talk to me about my features, talk to me about my big lips and my big forehead and my, everything. We need to have conversations about the majesty of our features, just in general. It doesn't have to be so specific as a mentor, but it needs to be general. Like, hey, the first 15 minutes of school every day, we're gonna talk about you.
Right.
You know, I think there's something to that. Now, going into high school, what was your idea of who you would become? What was going on with you, and what was going on in your head?
High school, honestly, going into high school, I had one focus, and that was leaving home.
Okay.
I didn't care about anything else besides leaving home. I hated it so bad at my house, and I felt kind of bad because there were foster children that I knew in school, and they were wishing they had a home like mine and wishing they had
Wow.
a father like mine. And I would be quiet sometimes, but that was my focus. I want to leave home because it was so much. How can I put it? It was emotional. It was emotional duress, and every child is different. And I understood when I got older that, my dad was there, but he was never there emotionally for me. He never showed up emotionally. He protected me. He taught me how to be a man, but the emotional part, he was not there. And from that, and then he got remarried. I remember I told you earlier, he and my mom were divorced. Well, he got remarried. So that was kind of different from me because I told him when he first got me married, I don't want another mother. And unfortunately, sometimes, not all, sometimes when there's a child involved and there's a tumultuous divorce, that child is everything's breathed on that child. All the hate, all the discomfort, all the anxiety, all the angst is built on that child. And that's sort of kind of what I went through behind my father's back. These people were, they were special. They were very special in trying to diminish me. They demeaned me. And I thought that was love. I thought it was love, Cedric. You know,
Wow.
about me. I thought it must be love. They love
Mhm.
me. They're talking about me. And so that was going into high school. I was just ready to get away from my living situation. I was ready to go. So I really didn't even get to
Mhm.
enjoy the sophomore year, the junior year, the senior year. I was just ready to go. And so, you know, I was a
Could you
regular. Go ahead.
could you have benefited from a program or a place to go? I
Oh, yeah.
mean, what were your thoughts about the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club? You know,
We
places like
didn't
that.
have that. We didn't have that back then. We didn't have a boy. You either play baseball, you play some sport. That's
Mhm.
all we had back then. We weren't privy to the YMCA. I told you from a very small town.
Right.
And, you know, the majority was, you know, Caucasian, if you get what I'm
Okay.
saying. So
Mhm.
we weren't privy to, I see one of my friends on here, Dr. Kennedy. He understands what I'm talking about. We weren't privy to the after school programs then, or the Boys and Girls Clubs, or the YMCA. So we basically, if we didn't hang with each other and play hide and go seek or run the track or just be among each other, we didn't have that. So it would
So
have benefited.
so you experienced a certain type of pressure.
Oh yeah.
You had this pressure build up that a lot of people they're going through it, but they can't really explain it.
Hmm.
Can you talk to us about that pressure? And what we need to do when that pressure feels like it's gonna make us explode.
Honestly, today you have to express yourself. Don't hold it in, whatever you do, and you have to be careful with whom you share it with, because that can be just as devastating as you feeling the pressure. Going to the wrong person to give you the wrong information can be devastating.
Right.
And today I realize that there are people who you can talk to who looks like you, who understands you, and who will support you,
That's
who
right.
will support you. You know, express yourself. Emotions are important. Mental health. I remember one time, Cedric, if I may, I remember one time there was this terrible rumor, and I think I was maybe 19. I graduated high school, and I remember taking a razor blade and cutting my face. I cut my face all up because I was so ugly. I was so disgusting. And no one came to my defense except my friends and said, you know what? You're going to be okay. We're not going to let you do this anymore.
As you recovered from those injuries, did you feel like that was going to be the rest of your life, that you were going to go through the rest of your life
Yeah.
not liking yourself?
At one point I did. I thought this is it. I'm just going to be this person that, you know, I can't help nobody. I want to be hidden. I don't want to be out in the forefront. And I did at one point in my life, I did feel like that.
You know, I see when I see young people cutting themselves, it really hurts me.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm thinking you're going through something that is so painful
Hmm.
that you're hurting yourself. It's so painful that you just want to take yourself out. You know, it's a micro suicide.
Yes.
You know, you try you what you can't take out on your environment. Like you said, we need to express ourselves.
That's
You're
right.
gonna take it out somewhere,
Somewhere.
and if you can't take it out anywhere else, you're gonna take it out on yourself.
Hmm.
And so this raises awareness about the need for us to express, to communicate, to be emotional.
Hmm.
Set boundaries, but be emotional.
Yes.
Be balanced, but be emotional. We can't be insensitive.
Yes.
because it drives people to suicide. This man was cutting his face. How many young people are out there today on the verge of suicide, ideating suicide, ideating self-harm, or actually doing self-harm because they don't have the right opportunities to express themselves? Had you ever heard of a motivational speaker when you were going through these moments?
No, not back then. Not back then.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't hear one back then.
Yep. And you say back then, but the reality is there were motivational speakers back then. Would you say that young people, teenagers, and adults need to be in front of more motivational speakers?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And it doesn't mean Les Brown has to come to you, but there are people among us that have stories that can motivate you, because all motivation is people overcoming, and they can help you keep going.
That's right. And the fact of the matter isn't, much respect to Les Brown, because he's a masterful speaker. But the fact of the matter is, when you were going through all of the things that you went through for years, this went on for decades. No one ever told you to go have a seat in the auditorium and then some guy bust out on stage. He's got a smile on his face telling you the most powerful, positive things you can possibly hear. It never happened. And so we're raising awareness today about different art forms that need to be incorporated into the childhoods and adolescence of young people. They need somebody to come in, be invited in and to put together a presentation that is positive, uplifting, and that can show them, hey, the world is bigger than your small town. There's people who will look at you and love you for who you are.
Yes, sir.
Maybe not on your street, maybe not in your city. But guess what? Lo and behold, you go outside the country one day. You go outside the country and see how people admire you for the place that you live, for the culture that you possess, for your very heritage. Your people love you from the top of your head to the sole of your feet. Yes. If you are just inspired to leave, to go somewhere. We got a comment from Daryl Kennedy. He says, folks need motivation. It's encouraging and insightful. I like to ask that question. Had you ever seen or heard of a motivational speaker before? Because it sheds a light on the fact that we need motivational speakers. Yes. If you are a school teacher, a school principal, an agency, an organization, a parent, bring a motivational speaker into your life. Bring a motivational speaker into your children's life. And a motivational speaker is somebody who sits down to say, what is it that I could pass along to other people who might look like me, who might feel like me, to help them get through their times? And guess what? That person might not be a big celebrity. They might not be a millionaire. It's your local guy calling you, asking you, hey, listen, I want to do a motivational performance for your young people. I want to do a motivational performance for your adults. Motivation is not only for kids.
Right.
We're raising awareness about the importance of motivational figures today. We're talking to Dr. Ira Roach III. This man is transparent. His story is powerful, and I'm getting some help today. I hope you are too. You guys sit tight, because we'll be right back after this brief message with more from Dr. Roach. America's Next Motivator. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network and our viewership. And we're back. How you feeling out there? Feeling all right? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Um, right back into the story. I find you to be very relatable. You represent so many people in America, especially you from like the heartland of America. You know, you represent so many of our emotions and so many of our feelings. But now I want you to take us home. When did you really get into the work that you're doing today? Where did it start and what happened?
Um, I've always done the work. I didn't realize that, but I've always wanted to see people win. I often tell people, Rocky 2, I think maybe I was 10. And I remember him, I think maybe I was 10, something like that. And I remember him winning, and I was crying at the end. And my dad was like, "So why are you crying? He won." And I was like, "Because his wife was sad and now they get to stay together and he won." And so I knew my thinking was a little different
Mhm.
because Rocky was the underdog, and he was not expected to win, and he went through all those trials, and so I knew something was different. And I remember when I was younger, I wanted to see smaller kids win, and as I got older, as you said, going to high school, I still wanted to see smaller people win. But then it went to adults. I had an aunt, I had an uncle. I wanted to see them win, and they had addictions, alcohol addictions, and I remember everybody would shun them except me.
Mhm.
Everybody wouldn't talk to him except me.
What
The
did you do for them? The folks who were caught in their addictions. What did you do for them?
with my aunt, she wasn't in a substance abuse addiction. She was in a marriage where she was controlled, and she wanted to get out, and she didn't know how, and she didn't know her worth. And I remember talking to her, and I was young. I remember talking to her and telling her, you have children, you have a daughter that's looking at you. She's going to emulate whatever you do, and I believe that you can get out of this. And so it was just a kind of being there for her, and eventually she did get out of that relationship. As
Mhm.
far as the uncles that were falling prey to addictions, I kind of was there. I didn't shun them when they were in the street. People would shun them. We don't want you. And I learned the power of having a relationship with God during that time, a real relationship, learning the scriptures that could help really change the mindset. I knew back then, Cedric, that it was all about the mindset. If I could help people shift their mindset, but I didn't understand how to do that then, but it was, change their perception. I didn't understand that then, but I knew it was something about shifting the mindset. So my little young self tried to help them shift their mindset. No, you don't have to go with them. No, you don't have to be around them. No, you don't have to hang around them. And so then I started trying to help them shift the mindset. And so from that person, I remember there had to be a platform where I could help people in a greater way. And so, believe it or not, I took a step at really trying to do this thing on this journey of what they say in church. I was trying to go on this journey, and I got some knocks and bruises, but I always knew I was a youth advocate. I
Mhm.
always want to see young people win, not be hurt, not be not be put down. Not people don't give them a chance because I felt like I didn't want to feel like they were the black sheep, that they didn't have any hope. And so even growing up on this journey, I was always been involved in youth activities. And so of course, what I go to school for, I went and got a little associates in early childhood education. And so my first experience was working at a telemon, and they had a little young black child in another class. He was 4, and they moved into my class. They said, because it seems like you guys can communicate together, so we want to put him over here. They wanted to kick him out the
Right.
telemon
Mhm.
because your mom didn't come to the meetings. And I said, no, don't kick him out. Just let him come to my class. And this young man came to the class. And of course, you know the rest. He still didn't, he still, was
Right.
hyper
Mhm.
but he understood that when I talked to him and he was better. So that was my first experience. And then just moving up into the world, I knew that there was a higher calling. I knew there was something greater. Even being from this small town, I didn't get my acting like I wanted to, so I thought. But I knew from being from this small town, there was a greater call. And I understood about gifts. A man gift, I make room for him and bring him before great men. And I understood that I got some gifts in me. and I want to see other people win. And I did not call it motivational speaking then.
That's right.
I saw Les Brown's show, speaking of which, but I never knew he was a motivational speaker. And so then I knew that there was a higher calling to help people.
That's right. You have been gifted the whole time.
Yeah.
It sounds like you were set aside by God or however people believe to be different so that you could realize that you actually were different.
Yeah.
The way that you look and on the surface and all that stuff is not as significant as the greater picture, which was that you are actually different. You look around and you see, like you said, a lot of other people might have been shunning, the addicted. They might have been shunning the bad kid. They might have been shunning the black sheep, but not you. You were different. A lot of people, they get into barbershop conversations about jealousy, envy, and the crab in a barrel mentality, but not you. You love to see other people win. And so it's plain and clear as we listen to you. And it's not just me. We've got other people watching. Valerie Jenkins says, you know your purpose. Amen. Misha Carwood says, I love it. We're hearing you tonight. You have been different the whole time. There's a specific work for you to do, and only you can do it.
Yes, sir.
Because obviously when everybody else goes right, you say, no, I'm going to go left. Talk to me about how that level of emotional intelligence allowed you to have success in your life.
Actually, it was something my dad told me when I was younger. He said, don't be a follower, be a leader. He said it every single day. Don't be a follower, be a leader. And so it's helped me be successful because sometimes when people don't look like us or sound like us or we don't see them in the same environment, we miss up opportunities that could have an open door for us. So when everybody else would say, oh no, I don't want to fool with them, I don't like what that is, da-da-da. Nope. I'm not doing it just because you guys don't want to do it. I'm going to go take a risk. And so honestly, that's what's brought me a lot of success of being that trendsetter, of going places where I don't see a lot of me. I don't see a lot of people that were with me, but I've gone. And that's honestly how I got to the Les Brown certification team.
Wow.
Being Les Brown and being where I failed before with coaching and did the proper channels, went and got an advisor, did the marketing with my first actual live outside of church, live workshop. Nobody showed up. Not one person. But I was so excited because for years, I think I've hidden behind the guise of this church.
Right.
I know everybody from church and I can reach you and bring you to church and I can show you this big God, but everybody don't want to come to church. Everybody's not going to come to the building. It was always you going to go get them. You have to go outreach. I was doing a lot of in-reach. And so when that happened, I wasn't sad at all. I'm like, oh man, nobody showed up. I done paid this money for this venue, got this breakfast for the people. And I said, but I'm not giving up. And
what was your message? What was your message?
Self-care. That was the message for that particular workshop. It's about self-care, how to take care of yourself and and I did the research and put out, but nobody showed up. Not one person.
If you had to do a presentation without doing any research and all you could do was speak from the heart, what would you say to the people? I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, 20 seconds. What would you say?
Live beyond your labels.
Wow. Okay.
Live beyond your labels. People can look at you and they will look at how you look and look around you and they will label you. And if you're not careful, you will live out those labels, but you don't have to. You have the power over those labels.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Live beyond your labels. We got a comment in the building off that one. That was powerful. Can be typecasted in the arts. So now Back to the arts. Talk to us about what you began to do. Did you begin to take roles? Did you start acting? What did you begin to do in the arts?
I did some community theater, a
Okay.
little bit of community theater. I never graduated high school and was able to go to any type of other
Mhm.
higher, you know, because my father said, that you're not going to be no actor from Georgetown.
Mhm.
You got to get a job so you can, blah 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 blah. I said, okay. So I talked to my drama teacher, and she gave me this expensive school, Carnegie Mellon. It was expensive,
Yeah.
and I didn't even know. Like an hour and a half away from me was the School of Arts in Philadelphia. I
Right.
never knew that until I got older.
Right.
But I say that to say this: there's no regrets because I know that that was God's plan for my life, and so I started writing church plays.
Okay.
I would write church plays. The first one I wrote was, I think, Don't Believe the Hype. And so it was just about young people hearing what everybody was saying and believing it. And so I started doing that. I never did make it to Broadway or anything higher, but I learned that one day I was at work and somebody said, it used to be something called Shane, Low Down Dirty Shane. Remember that
Mhm.
movie?
Yeah.
And remember Peaches? I think her name was Peaches.
Mhm.
Ooh, Shane. One day I was at work and this boy was like, Ira, you're Peaches or whatever his name was. I said, ooh. And another guy said, you know what? You are a character actor. That's who you are. And I heard that word. And like you said earlier, I've always been a character actor. I can mock anybody, do anything, voices, all of it. And I remember, so I used the power of the arts, of acting, to connect with people when I do my speaking. I
Mhm.
connect with them. I connect with young people, older people, middle age, poor people, wealthy people. So the arts has been a part of my life, a gift that the Lord has given me. And it's really made me successful in going on this journey to
Mhm.
greatness.
So you decided to create your own lane in the world.
Hmm.
Your father was telling you that you could and could not do certain things.
Hmm.
It sounds like, so your society was telling you, hey, do that in church.
Yeah.
But in reality, you wanted to do it out in the general public. You
Hmm.
wanted to pull people from wherever they may be onto a stage of your own and tell them what you wanted to tell them and present what you wanted to present. And you decided to create just that. Raekwon Green says, speaking the truth. You know, your people are showing up in the building today and they're affirming the work that you've been doing out there. Now, we were in pre-production and I was reading through some of the things that you wrote about yourself, and you called yourself a motivator to the masses.
Hmm.
What do you mean by that? And what do you talk about in that capacity?
When I say motivated to the masses, that was a term coined by a lot of people, because that's all I do. Well, they call it pushing people.
Mhm.
They never said motivating. They use the word pushing.
Mhm.
And I see, I don't know, it's a superpower I have. I can look at a young person, an older person, a person that's been in prison, a person that has a pristine life, and I can see in them their gifts. And most of the time, more often than not, people are not living in their purpose or their full capacity of what their purpose is. And when I see that, that's how I motivate them. Yes, you can.
Mhm.
You know, I don't care because you didn't see anybody else in your family become wealthy. That's not you. I can see you do this. I can see you do that. And when I say the masses, I don't want to ever be prejudiced to anybody. I can learn something from anybody. I've learned stuff from people who we call enemies on a job. I've learned from them. And so when I say motivating, to use a basic word, it is helping people to accelerate to
Mhm.
their next level. I love seeing people get to another level, and that's what I do.
Mhm.
That's what I do.
I like it. I like it when you say I'm not exactly a motivational speaker. I can identify with that.
Mhm.
Have you ever come up with a more appropriate term for what you do?
Let's just say I'm a global influencer.
Wow.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm a global influencer, and really the I have an I have a I'm in an apprenticeship program right now, and really what my mentor says is that I am a vision influencer.
Hmm.
I help people. I'm an activator. I help
Hmm.
people ignite their dreams or ignite the fire under them to go forward and focus forward. So I would like to say I'm just a global influencer.
That's right. That's right. When you speak, I think about visions and how we have a responsibility to develop vision in our life.
Hmm.
Some some, if not a lot of people, that go through life without ever taking up the responsibility of developing a vision in your life. But it's the vision that you create in your life
Yes,
that
sir.
allows you to play an active role in your future. When you play an active role in your future, you're happy at the things that you're attracting in your life.
Hmm.
Your feeling about time is different. Your
Hmm.
feeling about your age is different. Your feelings about everything change when you're developing vision. And so that's a very powerful exercise that you're doing with people out there. Now, if you could talk to young people in foster care in America, I don't know if you know this. You mentioned foster care a little while ago. We have 445,000 youth in the foster care system today. What would you say to young people, young adults in America? And remember, they're not all 6 and 7. We got a lot of 18-year-olds in foster care, no parents,
Hmm.
and they're trying to figure out a way to develop a vision for their future. What would you say to them?
First, I'd like to say, Cedric, that there's some people that I saw talking, and we're actually trying to join the fight. We're trying to get a transitional house, not just for anybody, but for young men that's aging out of the foster care system.
Wow.
We're actually working on that right now. We're trying to do that now. But what I would like to say is something real simple. I see you.
Mm.
I see you, and there are people that see you. You're not alone. I see you. A lot of them just need to know people see them, and it is a growing problem. But I believe that if we could help them understand that we see you, we do, we hear you, and we see you, and we're going to do something about it. We're going to work together, and we're going to do something about it.
Wow. What compelled you to actually want to make a difference for youth or young adults in the child welfare system?
I have been working with at-risk children, as they call them, since I was 25. And a lot of them I've had to restrain some, and some have come home with me. And a lot of times, that people have that outside look. They don't look at the heart. That's one thing I always want to ask God to do to help me see the heart. There are some really, really rough guys, really, really uh, awesome young men that have a lot of layers
Mhm.
on them because they don't trust.
Mhm.
People have let them down. People are not present. And so they're going to keep up a guard. But ooh, it's so awesome when you have a superpower that you can see through that and show love and meet them where they're at. And that's everybody can't do it.
Mhm.
Everybody doesn't want to do it. But I'm fortunate to be one of the ones that can. And that's why I've always wanted to help, because sometimes it's not, most of the time, the foster kids, like you said, they've had no parent, or they've been passed around from place to place. And sometimes it's just, I give up. What's the point? This is my life. Remember I said that earlier? This is
Mhm.
my life. This is all it's going to be. But when they see people like you, when they see people that have been in foster care and have made it and have done a great job, that's motivating. And all we have to do is just kind of express that we see. So yeah, basically in a nutshell, I want to see people win. And definitely those young black men, or all, but definitely I'm talking about my own culture now. I want to see them win. And so that's why I want to join the fight. So I've been trying to motivate. When you had that parent, even though they want to foster care, I've worked in Section 8 housing, where the young men, the mom was on crack and they didn't have any food or any clothes, and I would go take that time and go to their schools so they wouldn't kick them out, and have them, you know, out of high school with because we need an education. We need at least that. And so I would go do that. I would try to go buy them little clothes to give incentives to say if you just do right in the science class, I'm gonna get you a sweatsuit. And the teachers would call and they would do that just because I promised them something. And so
have you ever had a breakthrough with a parent?
Oh yeah.
What was that like?
I cried, and it was, I didn't cry in front of their face, but I cried because the child felt good. Mm-hmm. The young man felt good. Like, and it's something real simple. A young man finally won a medal for academic achievement, and his mother had never come to anything. And that night I made sure she was not drunk, she was not whatever. And I bought her some clothes, dressed her up.
Wow.
And that young man was so he tried to be hard, but he was so excited that his mom came to see that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get some hearts and likes in the building. Let's get some hearts and likes in the building because Dr. Ira, you decided to go above and beyond.
Yes, sir.
You look past the outer shell. Now, being honest, when you grow up and your environment is ugly, sometimes you look ugly. Mm-hmm. When your environment growing up is dirty, sometimes you look dirty.
Yes, sir.
When your environment growing up is dangerous, guess what? You look dangerous.
Yeah.
But what you're raising awareness about today is that the people who we look at and say, ew, get away from me. No, stop, don't. Mm-hmm. Underneath that shell, because people are oftentimes a product of their environment,
yes, they are,
is a beautiful core of a person. And so today we are raising awareness about the beautiful cores of people that we need to take off the outer layer, help them take off the outer layer and embrace that inner core. When you do that, everybody has a moment. And so that's what we're raising awareness about inside of this hour here on America's Next Motivator. So now, what is your legacy? What do you want the world to know about you? What are you leaving out there on the line?
It's a Les Brown quote, and it's one of my favorite. Don't let the opinions of other people be your reality. So when I leave here, I want people to know that I have touched as many lives as I could and helping them to get over those labels that people put on them. You'll never be that. You can't do that. You'll never get there. And so I want to be the label peeler. I want to peel labels off of people. So when I leave here, let's say, ooh, that little short man, he peeled that label off of me. So I want to touch as many lives as I can and let them know that there is a better tomorrow. If you wake up in the morning, that means it's a better tomorrow. And if you wake up, that means it's something here or some solution that you have for somebody. I believe that.
Mm-hmm. What is survival to you?
Making it happen. What I mean by that is let nothing stop you. And most of the time we have goals. And sometimes things are going to happen and come in your way. There's going to be some rocks. There's going to be some water sometimes. But survival to me is making it happen. Nobody's going to do it for you. You got to do it for yourself. You got to do it for yourself. And for me, that's survival. I can't depend on this one, on that one, or the next one. I got to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. What's the most positive thing that you've ever said to yourself?
You're going to live through this.
Wow.
You're going to live through this.
Yep. What is success to you?
I have a small equation about success because when I've seen people look at houses and they measure wealth, but success is simple. I make a goal. I do the action steps. I achieve it. I'm successful. Mm-hmm. And that's what success is. Achieving your goals, taking the action steps and achieving them. That's what success is on any level.
Mm-hmm. What do you say to people who think that success is financial gain? Success is being a millionaire. Success is something, superficial. What do you say to them?
I ask them a question usually. Well, how about last year? What were you doing last year? And they say, whatever. I said, now how about this year? Are you doing the same thing? Did you make any progress? And they say, yeah. I said, well, you're successful.
Right.
They're like, whoa, it's that easy? Yeah, it's that easy. And so that's what I try to do, the mindset. Try to get them to have a different perception of what success is.
That's right. And what is greatness to you?
Greatness is on the inside. And from what I learned about greatness, somebody's going to see it. You ain't got to say it. In 2020, I was invited to London to get an award. And guess what it was called? The
Whoa.
World Greatness Award.
Wow. Okay.
From a gentleman in London. He helped me write a book for my church called The City Changed My Life.
Mm-hmm.
In that book was stories of people who joined our church and started from point A, but now they're at point Z. And so he saw the work that I was doing, and he said, I want you to get this greatness award, the icon of greatness. And so what greatness is inside of you, it's your purpose.
That's
it's
right.
your purpose. Whatever your purpose is, and you do it without wanting accolade, that's greatness.
That's right. Dr. Ira Roach, I want to let you know that I've listened to your story today. I heard the way that you dealt with the pressures of your own upbringing, and you transmuted that energy into something positive, and now you're giving it back. We're giving you your respect today while you're still living, and we're giving you a crown today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat, because we're giving you a crown today while you're still alive to receive it. We're giving you a crown today. We are letting you know, letting the world know that you, Dr. Ira Roach III, you are America's next motivator.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by today, all right?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do, I see you, Misha and Daryl, they put crowns in the building for you. All you've got to do is stop by and pick it up.